Hi guys, welcome back. I have a very important video. This one is about Jelani Day, and he is 25 years old, tall, dark, and handsome. He is a graduate student of ISU. He's going to be, was in college at ISU. He was planning on becoming a speech pathologist. And I can actually share some photographs with you of him. Let's see if I can make that bigger. Because I'm computer illiterate, you know me, this is how I have to do it. This, oops, it's dinging, is Jelani. Tall, dark, and handsome. Oh. And he is also missing. Well, he was missing. And you'll have to excuse me, I've been crying all day. I am really touched by this story, and I want everybody to know about this man. I'm going to get into our conversation, the conversation that I had with him today. But first, I'm going to let you know what happened to him. On August 24th, let me find where I'm supposed to be. Oh, before I get to that, I want to tell you, he was only in Chicago for 2 days before he came up missing. He was there to see his father, who has cancer. And Jelani, is his father's bone marrow transplant. This is the kind of man he was. And he would sit and he would pray with his father and talk with him and keep him company. But on August 24th of 2021, he was reported missing, and I've heard his body was found 24 hours later, and I've also heard his body was found on September the 4th. Either way, that was only 11 days. He was found in a river near Peru, somewhere in Illinois. But the family was not told until yesterday, September the 23rd. He was ID'd by dental records. Now, during this time, all his friends and family were searching for him because somebody dropped the ball and failed to have somebody come and identify his body. And I know when a body is found, it is taken to the morgue and it is put in pretty much a freezer or a very cold box. Okay. So it's preserved. But the family was told yesterday that, well, first, the mother, Carmen, is beautiful herself. Beautiful woman. I'm jealous. They're considering it a death investigation Not a homicide, not foul play, anything like that. The coroner called the mother on September the 21st and said that they had his dental records. Then they called back on the 23rd. The 21st they called. Then they called back on the 23rd to say, I may just play it and let you hear what the mother went through on that part. But this story, and I got this from Queen Talks Crime. I always watch her channel, and I was watching this, and I was just bawling. And it was making me mad because this family is not getting justice for their child, you know. Yes, he's 25. And it's funny because when I focused my energy and asked him to come in and speak to me, and he's here right now because I have goosebumps everywhere. He is so sweet. He's so funny. And you know, this is probably a little too TMI, but I was having to get dressed real quick because I was wanting to make a video, and I was still talking to him. His spirit was with me, but when I was getting dressed, he turned around. I mean, he's in his spiritual form, but he's still his self. And I said, you are such a good guy, you know? I mean, I wasn't worried, but this is just the kind of man he is. And I talked to him about the situation, and what I understand from him is that this was more of a murder, pretend to look like a robbery. Not a robbery and accidentally turned into a murder. I think it, well, I know because I talked to him. And he explained to me, I said, was there 2 men that did this to you? And he said, no. And I said, was it 3 men? He said, no. I said, was there 4 men? And he said, yes. And I said, were they white people? Were they white men? And he said, yes. Now, then I got to thinking, this reminds me, well, the 4 men, I asked him, did you know them? And he said, yes. And I said, did they just want to kill you? And he said, yes. And what it is they killed him by making him vulnerable, by stripping off all his clothes. They took his wallet, they took his money, whatever was in his wallet. They threw it out somewhere else later. But they need to forensically check that car, because I'm not sure, but I believe that those guys were in that car. And they took him down to the river, and I didn't get much into what they did to him, but they had him to strip so that he's vulnerable. Because the kind of man he is, he would have been embarrassed, and he shouldn't have been. I mean, this case reminds me of Darius Sweeney. I think that's how you say the name. He was just a 13-year-old little boy. They would not let his mother see him. They identified him by a shoe, I think. Or that might have been Kendrick Johnson. And then I went back to Emmett Till, and he was in Chicago. And Emmett Till, this happened to him back in the, 30s, 40s? And this is still happening. And when I hear about stuff like this, I mean, this man, Jelani, and I told him, I said, I always have to look at your name to be able to say it right. But you are a beautiful man with a beautiful name, and you do not deserve this. And your family did not deserve this. This is a photo of him and his mother, and she's gorgeous. See, him and his mom. And if you want to go online and Google him, it'll tell you all the information about him. He had an awesome car, too. He was a catch. He was definitely a catch. And just a really good person. And I just feel like he was done wrong. I feel like the conversation that I had with him, that, I could be wrong, but from what our conversation was today, was that he was attacked by 4 white guys that he didn't really know, but he knew from school. And I think they were just jealous. Honestly, I mean, it's a race thing. It is. I see that. But they were jealous because this black guy is going to college. He's going to be a doctor, and I'm going to be flipping burgers, or, it's ridiculous. He worked for that. He deserved to make it. He worked hard, and it was all taken away from him, and that's not fair. And she's so pretty. She was a good mama to him. She's a good mama to all her kids. But I would like to send my condolences And I want to see him get justice. Because this isn't over yet. I mean, Queen talks crime. I know she's expecting and everything, but she went to the same high school he did. She grew up around there. So this is really hitting her too. But it hurts me because what is the difference? I mean, and it's like I told him, and he knew this, or he wouldn't have came in and talked to me and been so, telling me everything. But I said, you know that I don't care if you're purple or green and have yellow and polka dots. I don't care. Because a human is a human is a human is a human. A person's a person. And I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care about your orientation. Everybody hurts. Everybody has family. And when he came in and I met him, and I'm talking in a spiritual sense, I said, dang, you're tall. Because I'm only like 5'2", and he's like 6, I don't even know, but he's 6 foot something, 6'2", I think. And I said, oh, I don't know if I said this or not, but I said, oh, you're about 22. I said, you're about 22, aren't you? And he said, yeah, like Gabby. And Gabby, or Summer, is all over Gabby, like she was with Robin at the church. She's all over Gabby, just like she did Robin. It's funny. It's funny the things that I see, because like I told you guys, people are the same when they're past and when they're here. And that is what is so neat, because you can communicate with each other. You're always connected. You're always linked. And I want you, Carmen, to understand that you can talk to your son anytime you want to. And I think you know. I think you know that. I think you feel him all over, all the time. And I hope that his services are publicized. I hate funerals, but I would love to at least, I know he'll be there in spirit, But my biggest question, they let Emmett Till's mother see him. In his condition. And he was only in the water anywhere from 2 to 11 days. So he couldn't have been that bad off. Even if the mother couldn't identify him, another family member could have identified him. An uncle, somebody else, But that's important. I don't think that it's right. That's your baby. That's your child. I don't care how old they get, they're still your kid. And so, if they're gone, I think you need to have that, I mean, when they're born and you see them, and then if something happens like this and they die, you need to see them. They need, not really they, because they're okay, but for you, I don't care what my kid looks like. My God, that's my baby, and I want to see it, you know. And it's something it's something that you cannot unsee, but if you don't see it, you're going to go through the rest of your life thinking, what did he look like? What did she look like? You know, and like I said, he was only in that water for 11 days. Supposedly. Could have been just 24 hours. But the way they process them, you know, they put them on ice, or not necessarily ice, but they put them in a refrigerated section. And then they usually will do the autopsy the next day. They could have gotten blood from him for DNA, which they ended up doing, but they could have gotten fingerprints from his school, because anytime you go to high school or college, they fingerprint you, or sometimes even in some states, they get your fingerprints when you get your driver's license. So, there were other ways to figure out who he was. It did not have to take, over 20 days to identify him. And she still hasn't seen him. So, Carmen, what I suggest you do is get an independent autopsy done. Get it all squared away before he is buried. You raised a beautiful young man. You should be proud. He's got such a pretty smile. But if Emmett Till's mom can go through what she went through, I know he didn't go through all that. So I think somebody needs to be beating on some doors. I would. But yeah, I feel like there's some cover-up going on. I do. Just like with Darius, I keep wanting to call him Swan. Darius Swan. Kendrick Johnson. There's a lot more. But I want you to keep this guy in your prayers, because his mama needs prayers. She does right now. But he is a very nice looking man. Let's see. Where's your other picture? There it is. Look at that. What a catch. Rest in peace, buddy. I will, like I told Queen Talks Crime, I'm not going to take her case away from her, but I do want to, I want to get it out there. And I really wanted to channel him today and get his side of the story and find out what happened. Hey, bud. It's like we're doing this now, you know. But anyway. Oh, and I did put out a post that I feel like dark time. It's going to be Brian time. Did I tell you that he knows about Gabby? I think I did. Because I thought he was 22. And he said, like Gabby. And I said, you've met Gabby? And he goes, yeah. Let me see what he said exactly. Because I wrote it down. I said, what are you, like 22? He said, yeah, like Gabby. But the world's going to miss out. And that's what happens when people take each other's lives. It's not the way it's supposed to work. But maybe God needed him more than we did. You guys share his story on your channels. Talk about him at work. This is a new story. So spread the word and pray for the family. Thanks for watching, you guys. I love you all. Bye.